Silence. And isn't it golden? Oh my God. What am I going to talk about? Oh, you want to see peace? This is what peace is all about. This is what peace is all about. My cat just figures she'll plop down and lie down in this spot, right? It's not bothering me. I don't have to get her out of the way. I'll stand in her way if somebody comes to attack her. You know, for the first time, I really never knew what the militia was all about. That is so cool. Protecting people from their own rights of the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. Come on, man. Don't you understand? War is no good. If somebody's going to blow you up, they're going to blow you up. What's it going to do? Running to their backyard and getting them mad and looking for what they're doing. Listen, if we share, maybe the people, okay, who are in these places, because you see, I sort of believe in one thing a little bit, that I think if this whole world was fair, okay, I think everybody should have the freedom of rights to see the real news of what's going on, the truth of what's going on in the world, and sharing and seeing the same product. Because it's for us we live. It's our earth. It's nobody else's. It's not about how much money does the government have. It's not the government's money. It's your money. They use it to do your roads. They do it to pay your hospital bill. Okay? It's because unassociated, right? They make like this is associated company, because unassociated and having just little companies, everybody would take advantage of each other, and certain things have to be done. A government is a non-profit organization for the people. Yes, they drive bigger cars, they get bigger salaries, they do bigger things, but I can surely see myself getting $250,000 and having the life they have, especially how easy it can be if we get everything rolling right. You see, we pay taxes for a reason, but because we stop paying taxes, we're all pissed because we don't know where the money's going. We don't mind paying it, most of us, but if we actually knew where it was going and that we agreed to where it goes, we as Canadians must make sure that Ron Paul's name is heard and vibrates from here and on until the time of the closing of the last polls. We should hear the name of Ron Paul. If he tells a lie, he tells the greatest lie of ever, and great deceit will come in the future. If he tells the truth, we risk aliens coming to attack us. Anything that'll put that army into effect and set up that one world order. Whether he's there or not, they're going to do it one way or another. It's what you're going to believe. Start believing it now. Start listening now. You're not going to see this maybe for a couple of more months, but it's going to happen. Then you're going to say, oh yeah, he was right, but it was too late. I voted for the wrong one. You see what Ron Paul in there, right? He sort of relies a little bit on the internet. He's sort of in with the gig on the internet, Ron Paul, and he knows we're not 600,000 Canadians here lying about what we see. Yeah, hey, imagine this. We can't even find our mail. We don't know our neighbors, but we all seem to say the same thing about 9/11. Yeah, we all came together to have a conspiracy to make it like 9/11 was actually not true. We know it's not true, and we didn't come together to do it. It's because things just didn't mix. You can't believe everything you see. Isn't that what they told you? Don't judge a book by its cover. A cover-up? Ron Paul must win. The militia must stand forward. And if you're young and you don't know what I'm talking about, find out what it means to be the militia. What you're actually is you're a nonpartisan, if I understand this correctly, you're a nonpartisan that takes the hand up on the law, okay, making sure that the two people that are against each other are abiding by the laws of the independents, based on the side, I guess, of the army or the police, or the sides of the residents. If the residents are doing wrong and the police take them in, then the militia will do nothing. But if the people are doing right and the police go to take them in, the militia will stop them from wrongful doing. And that's what should happen. Okay? There's nobody, whoever's running the street, how many people, what's really going on? What do you really see in the news? A couple of murders here and there compared to the thousands of murders around the world and fear of a one world order and continuing faultation to the oil company for the rest of your life. You do have to understand, if we do use something that's better, we may not necessarily save all that money, because we still have to pay for the roads and the highways, don't forget, okay? We still have to pay for the hospitals, but we have to learn a new way. There's people with no money. How much will it take to make sure every man, woman, and child has a place over their head, okay, and food in their stomach every single day, okay? And then you have to up 2, those who have addictive compulsive. Up 3, we no longer need the casinos, actually, okay, around, okay? And if you do go and everybody's compulsive addictive, too many people are going to lose their houses, so you may as well not have the casinos around. The second thing is, there is a new conscience coming in, okay? The new conscience mind, NCM, new conscience mind coming in. And with the new conscience mind, the casinos are no good. They're bad vibrations, they're bad vibes. They're using up our water, our electricity to generate a false product to the people. And that will, in the future, it cannot stand. There's something about it that must change. We always need that thing that we have to get a hype to of some sort. I'm not sure what we have to do, but if the worst scenario is the casinos would have to go. But like they said, how long have the horses been around? How long have they been racing? What's been actually going on in different societies? What does the Bible actually say? Well, you know what Christ did. Christ blew up when he pulled into the yard and he saw downtown at the church there, they were gambling and buying and selling. That was like being downtown Montreal, downtown New York. So maybe in the city you shouldn't be gambling with anything, because the monkey wasn't in the jungle. He wasn't gambling with anything. That was his life down there. And now you take the city for a second rate. Instead of going down, meeting people, no. We make it irrational business just to beat on people and bring them in so one can make money on the other while somebody is paying for it at the end. And we can no longer afford it. So we're living a false life. We're paying for too many things that we actually either don't need in this world, okay? And then again, we do need insurance on our life. So somewhere there's got to be like an automatic that the minute somebody starts work, bang, he's got to, when he dies, automatically 25,000 from the government goes right into, because he's going to give to society now. He starts to work. He's automatically gets himself a box and a place to be buried when he dies. That's the first thing that should happen. Nobody should have to worry about it. The government should worry about it because people have other things to worry about than these little things. So they just make sure that the government does the minimum. And if they want to do anything extra, well, the government will pay for part of it if you can't afford it at that time of your life. Not for everybody, but everybody has a chance to it, okay? Everybody should have a chance, okay? And like I said, sometimes, okay, we forepass on these chances because we take other chances in life. Other chances, people say, don't do it, don't go there, don't do it. It's not good, it's risky, it's this. And all of a sudden success happens to this guy. Whoa, baby, yeah. And that was Microsoft. And the other guy said, whoa, baby, don't go, baby, don't go, baby. Took the chance and boom. Ended up going down all the time, all the time, all the time. So some people are not as connected with the system the way other people seem to be. Just they know their way in. And yes, there are others who become the doctor and the dentist, but some young children, when they're growing up, they're trying to say, well, I don't understand this about life. I got to be a doctor or a dentist, or life doesn't exist. I got to be a lawyer or a politician, or life doesn't exist. If I don't generate something of a public monetary system where it inflicts goodness on the people, and oh my God, you're a doctor, you can do what most can't do. But I'm doing what most can't do. I'm MrTacpans. Most can't do them unless your vibrations are connected to the secondary world. The primary of your connection connected to the two world of based on 1 and 2 is 3 creation, okay, inside the passage, because you must go in the passage to meet your angel. Otherwise, you don't connect with the secondary world. Therefore, connecting the four corners or the four pillars, if you want to call them that way. 10, 10, 10, 10. Like Monopoly's got 40 when you go around. You know what you get when you hit to the 41st day in Monopoly? That's what I call, okay, the Mediterranean. But you know what I can never understand? What number would you be on if you went all the way to free parking and then into the center? That means you cut through a corner going into the center, automatically showing us that that would be the 3 dice. You understand what I'm saying? Do I have a dice on me? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. No, no. Oh boy. Okay. I don't have the 3 dice on me, but I'll paint you a picture. You want me to paint you a picture? Well, I don't mind painting a picture. Hold on a second. We're going to take a survey out there. How many people want me to paint them a picture? Oh, that's pretty good. Almost one. That was me, because I already know. You see, here's the Monopoly. Here's free parking, FP, and here's Go. Okay. Okay, look. Here's Go. Jail. Free parking. Over to the middle. From here to here is 10, 20. What would it be to the middle? Would you say it would be 5? So it would be 25 to the center. That means number 2 and 5, which is the quarter. Imagine that. 2 and 5 is on the goddamn quarter. Just like on the dime, it shows a 1 and a 0 for 10. 0 is nothing. It's 1. That's why the 10 is black in roulette. Anyways, the nickel only has 5 cents on it. How come the 2 is not in the nickel, but it's on the quarter? The 5's on the quarter with the 2, but it's not on the nickel? How come the dime and the penny are just almost the same size and squeeze in to the size of the Canadian nickel, hovered over where the quarter is and plugged into the Mayan calendar so the 52-year cycle can turn? But don't forget that 52-year cycle, okay, my friends, is 13 leap cycles. Okay, that's the Mayan 52-year cycle, which is a 13 leap cycle. So what everybody's talking about the Mayans, I know I jumped off of something, okay, but what I was talking about the Mayans now, right? If this is a 13 leap cycle for 52 years, and we're running on, they said 25,625 or whatever number it may be, what you have to do now is find out how many of these cycles that they lost. Actually, they were supposed to lose a day. Where is that day they lost? You understand what I'm saying? If they don't count the leap year, doesn't matter where the days they lost. We have to count 364 of these. That's how you find it, because there's 364 basic days and full weeks in our year, and there's 1.25 days that are outside of a completed week in our year, if you understand what I'm saying. And the 1.25 is a representative of the passage creating the Magen David, going across the middle, 5, going 1x this way through the 5, and 1x this way through the 5, creating the 6 points, which is actually, if you put a straight line in it, which I call the Christ line, it's what it creates is the letter K, 245-degree angles, which is your mind, splitting in between the energy of Christ, bringing the knowledge between that part that can think in your mind. I don't know how the mind works, but anyways, so because of this, it's 5 times 5 times 5. You went through the passage. So in a cube, okay, like on your telephone pad, 1 to 9, okay, the middle is always 5. Okay, so 5 by 5 by 5, even if you did touch the corners and they're actually 15, 15, 15, actually the lines, the X, the 1 to 9, the 3 to 7, the 4 to 6, they're all 15, 15, 15, equaling to 45. 45 represents the fox. It's the primary communication connection with the center connect, with the E, and the passage of the N world. Okay, END, the angel connect to man. F, freedom fighter. F, freedom fighter. Man, freedom fighter. Delta, freedom fighter. So anyways, we get the cross, okay, and that represents 5, 5, 5, 5. Oh, excuse me, I didn't fix fox backwards, okay, would be from the passage back to the fox, because when you give the information fox, looking for the information 45, and from 4 to 5, 5 responds to 4 and says love, because 54 is the letter count for love. So when it responds, whatever it tells you is automatically is love, because you have received the communication from it, regardless of what the information is. The 5445 reverse communication says the communication is successful, and that's love. It would be the same thing as 56 and 65. 56 is the number for the wolf, and it's man's communication. Angel communication is the fox 45, man is the wolf 56. If you put them together, it's 101. The one doors, my friend, are blockades, okay? You ever see a line up this way and then a V, you know, a V, how can I, you know, a V like this, and it looks like a K, this one over here. But if you saw it on your recorder, this design, you would say, oh, it's an arrow pointing that way. But when you see it next to a letter, you say, it's the letter K. No, it's the letter M. Watch out, it could be the W. Wait, wait, there's other letters from behind. I hear a letter, R. Wait a second, I heard a letter, R. How do you spell that? R. No, because you see the letter and you know it's A-R. It's the only letter which is divisible by 6, and it fits into the brain cells. 666 is 18. It's the 18th letter. It's the only one that connects to the highest point, the highest dice. 666. There is no higher than that dice. All man has spirit. It's automatically 721. Man is already creation 21. So it's angel resident. The other letter I want to talk about right now, since I'm on to this, is first of all, I went over my last name, and I think I'm going to try and keep it a secret what my last name is, because I'm not quite sure if my last name is out there somewhere. I've been trying to hide it for a long time now. Hold on a second, I'm checking online, and let's see, my last name is, oh, what's this? Oh, that's me, and my last name. And hold on a second, and what's this? That's me and my last name. And wait, there's a note. 60 pages of me and my last name. So you know what? I guess I'll add to another one of me and my last name. Now, what the hell is Fremeth? What is that? I can't even spell it. Every time I think about it, I think I belong in Quebec. Because when I say it, the end of the word, listen to it. Fremeth. Rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. It's not like a frog. I feel like a frog. And therefore, I guess my name was for me to live here in Quebec. No? Good place to live, no? What a grand old place. You know why? Because I'm confused about all these politics out here. You know, I'm really confused, but you know what? I was never into politics, and I never knew what I wanted to do in my life. But all of a sudden, I'm turning around, and Ron Paul is saying, you know what? Maybe there's a place for me after all. Ron Paul gets in, oh my God, freedom fighters and all the good ones. You're not going to lose, guys. Those who have millions of dollars, don't worry, you're not going to lose. That's not where it's going to come in. We're talking, when you're talking multi-billions, okay, and when you're jumping into trillions, and when you're jumping into how the monetary system works. When you give me a dollar bill, I should be able to go to the bank and say to the bank, give me 3 grams of silver for my dollar. There should never be more money on the market than they hold silver in whatever mind they have. Okay? You must always have a value for what you own. Things that do not go down in value. Reason. Do we actually need more money? In 100 years from now, if I took out 10 American dollars, I would be happy to get a French fry. So look what happens. Everything goes up. So that means the silver would have to go up in value. So if the silver went up in value, instead of actually the money going up in value, that means the money would never have to go up in value. Just the silver would. And we'd still have the same dollar, and it would be the silver that would hover the true value of it. Is that not the way it would work? How would that work? Anyways, regardless of that, I'm quite sure you got what I'm getting at and where I'm going, right? If you haven't got where I'm getting at and you haven't checked out where I'm going, my friends, turn back to 850 different kinds of Baziki, Bazerko videos, and you will see who I stand for. I'm just beginning to learn myself. Took me a couple of hundred, to figure it out. Every time I go into one of those bipolar mania sessions, I more and more I learn just before I get into them and start to study exactly what I'm doing and how I feel in my mind, because that I feel is some kind of energy inside of us that helps us to lift the pineal gland, to go over to have the other side come in and visit the both sides, knowing that there is a difference, letting you open up, open the vision within. Everybody opens their vision. That's why we have evolution. But it's not deep enough, because right now evolution is, hey, look what I got, brand new. Hey, look what I got, brand new. Went to Walmart today, saved $90. Can you believe it? I brought a brand new TV. I saved $90. What room are you putting it in? He says, I'm putting it on top of the other one. I want to put 6 in the den. So he says, you want to put 6 in the den? He says, what are you going to do? He says, well, I bought a multi-stereo system. He says, you really want to hear these vibrations? And he puts it on. He says, you're going to bust that. He says, oh, no. He says, this is a special filter for the electronics that pass through the system. He says, I can feel the energy that comes out of the music. He says, I see the weirdest things. He says, the whole world opens up. And more or less, if you know what I'm getting to, is that we're all plugged in right now into this world that we actually, somewhere out there, it sort of ends. That's, I just want to look at this. Somewhere out there it ends. It's frozen, and we're inside this, that little globe of snow that you shake. The reason the glass is around it, because actually where you put your hand on it, that's actually a piece of ice. That's part of the iceberg showing we froze in the ice. Earth is frozen in the ice in another dimension. And we're in this universe, and God is constantly going around with his pick, and he's always chipping away at the ice, always chipping away at the ice, always chipping away at the ice. Hey, man, you're chipping away. Yeah, chipping away at the ice. You know what I'm saying? Ron Paul has to come in. Did I jump off the Mayan cycles, those 13 leap years? So since there's 13 leap years in 52, what you have to do, okay, is now you have to multiply it by 13. And if you further it on, there's another answer in there that's going to explain. But anyways, the Mayan cycle of 52 weeks, didn't I just start telling you about the quarter, 2 and 5 on the quarter, and all the ridges around the quarter? Because the quarter is what turns, quarter of the time. Of the time, of the time, of the heart, the diamond, the club, the spade, the heart, the club, the diamond, the spade. Oh, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I didn't know they were having a bazaar today. Bazaar. Do you know what bazaar actually really means? It means the secondary world king has a sale going on. So you're actually buying the rubbish from those who were kings to it when they first owned it, who no longer want it anymore. And we, as the poor souls, are walking up to buy, well, what somebody else no longer needs. But you know what? I went to the garbage the other day and I got this fantastic thing. It put me so much in order. When I looked at it and I saw it, I said, oh my God, it's mine. Do you want to see what it is? Out of the garbage. Well, not it wasn't in the garbage, but it was next to the garbage, close to it, almost apparently acting like it was part of the garbage. But it was sort of embarrassed because it looked so good. This piece of equipment looked so good. It was sort of embarrassed being next to the garbage. So it was sort of turned sideways, but it was turned on a perfect angle to like sticking out the thumb. And it was like almost saying, pick me up. So headed on over and backed up my car right to it. And I looked around and I said, anybody see me going to the garbage? I'm not going to the garbage. I think there's something wrong with my tire. So I bent down to check my tire and I looked at it and I said, oh, I want it. And I picked it up and I picked it up and I was so happy like a trophy. I said, you know what? If they want to know what I have, I'm proud to say I will be the owner of a new organizer. And here is what I'm talking about. See that organizer there? Right? That organizer, my friends. That organizer holds every piece of information that I have gathered in the last 2 weeks. I haven't looked in it, I haven't touched it, I haven't put anything inside of it. In fact, when I did put something inside of it, I never went back in to see what it was. But last week I did go through one of the drawers and threw everything out. So much for an organizer, as long as it's not on my desk, because I have cats. And these cats, I got one that talks to me. He keeps telling me what's wrong with me. He keeps going, meow. And I go, I owe nothing. He goes, meow. I go, rough. He goes, yes, it's rough when you owe. Isn't that what it is, the cat and the dog? It's rough when you owe. Meow, rough. Rough when you owe. Meow, rough. Rough when you owe. Okay, so we have the quarter for 25. We have the beta pass. I want to explain something to you. Why the quarter is so important is because the 2 and the 5 are in the center of your telephone. To extend it even further, okay, the letter K, or the 11th letter, or the 11th number on roulette is in the center of roulette, 2 spaces down from the 5 and the 2. The 11 is 1 and 1 is 2 as single digits. Then you go down to the next letter from 11. It is 14. 1 and 4 is 5. Then you go, you understand what I'm saying? 2, 5, K, and K is the 12th letter. Excuse me. Wow, lost in my own words. It was going good. Okay, K is the 11th letter, and N is the 14th letter. Ken. K and N. Those are the secondary first level spirit numbers, okay, starting with, okay, the center only. The center only, where 258 is that you see on your phone right there and all the way down on roulette. 258, 11, 14, 17, 20, 23, 26, 29, 32, 35, bingo. Some are red and some are black for reasons unknown to most. But if you want to know anything about roulette, and you want to compare it to the Bible, if you want to compare it to the Torah, if you want to take Monopoly, and you want to shove roulette into Monopoly, and you want to compare it to the Torah and the Bible, you will see that everything I am telling you is right on. And I write on everything. I write on everything. So what I'm going to get to now is that, and I never did this before, K is the first in the second level, okay, of the 2 digits. K is the first 2 digits that complement beta 2 as being the second letter. And the N is the first 5 that complements E as the 5th letter. They're the first 2. When you say K with an A. When you say N, normally in English you say EN. Yes, there's differences in other languages, okay? And yes, we can do the same work in other languages too. I have to sort of understand the basics of the language, and then you go with the flow, because that's what it's all about. God said, if you want to know, you got to go with the flow. Make it easy. Don't cause treason, cause reason, cause understanding, because it's understanding for man that makes us the same. See, I'm going to jump off again for something else. Okay, the government, I don't know what anybody knows, but if somebody wants to come here and blow me up, come and blow me up. If it's a long-range missile, come and blow me up. If we have those things in the air, we're supposed to shoot the missiles down, okay? If they hit us, now we have to question the whole thing before we continue. Why in the world does anybody want to shoot a missile at me? I don't hear anybody really wanting to shoot a missile at Russia. I don't really hear certain things. Certain missiles aren't going to certain places. You know what I'm saying? If they're going to shoot the missile, don't stop them. Share. Okay? If it's my idea, I should have my rights to it, but we have to share. Certain things everybody has to know. That's the way it is. Yes, we're always going to get our rights and our little bit of money or whatever it is, but it's got to be changed, because you know what? If we're not fair in business, then how can you be fair in family life? When you treat a business and you own a business and you treat it like it's your child, because everything you do will cost the business money, and that's what the business is all about, to make money. The diaper, the paper of the not the diaper, it's the money that the business makes. Okay, but this world is not a business. This is for the life of man to live. The business is how to live. The freedom fighters, the militiamen, those who just want to, you know what? If you don't bother a guy in the middle of the street smoking a joint, you're okay. But if you bother this one and the next one and the next one, and sometimes at the end, when they have nothing left to lose, they're going to turn around. And this has been going on for decades now. Look how many have turned around. Ron Paul, my friends, regardless, pull out the men. If something is needed in Syria, God damn it, I can figure it out. I want to know what the people are actually saying. What are they saying? Do they have their freedom? I think the only thing we should fight around the world for is freedom. Okay, but there's a way, an easy way to do it. If the people in the nation all want freedom, it's going to be pretty easy. You take out the government, okay, and you leave the rest of the people, the ones who want freedom. And there's got to be a rule book on freedom. Everybody has to understand each other. But then certain things are lost in freedom and misunderstood. Well, I live in Canada, and all of a sudden, everybody was speaking English. Now they're all French, and next year they're going to be German. Should we be able to keep a language for certain places, or just let it keep on changing with the times? Okay? If it changes with the times, I would sort of quote George Carlin, why are you carrying around that stuff? Do you actually need all that stuff? And do you have a place for all that stuff? So whatever we bring forward in a constitution from the past, okay, we have to be ready to live with the past constitution, okay? Now, what happens if there's no French people that live here in Quebec anymore? Not one. And everybody wants the national language. The only reason we want a national language, my friend, there's only one reason you want a national language, is so when you go to a freaking restaurant, you can read the menu in 2 languages or 3, and when you're turning right, you want to make sure it says right on the sign and not left in another language. You know what I'm saying? That's basically all you need it for. Who the hell cares what color the flag is, my friend? Okay? If you ain't a good neighbor, okay, and get back to Sesame Street, DNA. Do you know what DNA and Sesame Street have in common? 41:14. The Middle East Mediterranean 41:14. Why did I jump off and jump on? The only way to freedom, okay, is we need associations that bring the people and save the people, that are non-profit associations that do not waste the people's money for stupidity. Yes, you should pay for the policeman's uniform. Yes, you should pay for all of them to come in and get schooling. Yes, like a normal company, you pay the people the way it is, and the policemen should get a little bit extra because they're taking a chance. You know what I'm saying? But they don't have any more rights than anybody else. I say you want to take somebody out, shoot them in the leg. I think not enough people are shot in the leg. You know why? You know why I'm saying that? Because the expression of shot in the foot and shot in the leg is an expression I once used, and I was misjudged, and they came after me just for saying that at a store. And I say that because when you shoot someone in the foot, you always remember it. So they remembered what I said, and they didn't like it. So if you just, like somebody robs a store, just shoot them in the foot anyways. And after you get a couple of shots in the foot, you won't have to shoot anybody anymore. Instead of not shooting the first 10 and then shooting the next 50 and they don't make it, you shoot the first 10 and you won't have to shoot the next ones because nobody's doing it anymore. That's what I'm just explaining the situation that's what it always breaks down to. Which way do we go? It's gotten bad. It's gotten worse. Well, you know what? Right now we're going to have to take the chance that protect our own cities, our own citizens, and if somebody's smoking a joint on the street, I'll leave the poor guy alone, drinking a beer, drinking a joint. But beer and glass, you know what I'm saying? If the guy's drinking beer out of a cup or something, that's better. I can't see a guy bringing his glass bong onto the road and saying, "Hey, Poppy, I'm smoking a big old grass bong out here." No, you don't want the glass on the street. You know what I'm saying? You got to protect the streets, my friends. It costs money to clean them up. You know what I'm saying? I'm quite sure Ron Paul knows all of this. I'm quite sure if he just stays informed with everything that's going around, with everybody that has to say, why don't they start small little surveys? And why don't we survey do they take surveys? Surveys, we need to survey these guys, and, you know, the answers have to be A, B, C, D, and then 1 to 3. You know what I'm saying? Because it'll either be 1, 2, or 3. Don't give any chances. 1 to 3. In between 1 and 3, which one is it? You can't take 2. Oh my God. Imagine that. And then you put it into a computer and check the computer out, and you'll see they lie from one. You cannot leave troops around this world. You just cannot. You cannot. It's over, my friends. It's over. Something will happen in the close future. I do want to show you something. You remember I told you man is 56 wolf? The reason man is 56 wolf, because here's the 6 dice, okay, and here's the 5 dice. But we're not using the same 5 dice as what you normally see. We are using, this is the 5 dice you usually see with the cross in it, right? But I put it this way because the angle of this world is on 45 degrees. The angle of our world is on 45 degrees. That's why the rain comes in on that angle, okay? If we have some kind of cap up there of some sort. I don't know how it works. But anyways, so I stretch out the east-west world, okay, because we go around this world 180 degrees or 90 degrees up and down, right? You understand what I mean? 90, 90. 90 this way, and you can go all the way around, but this is the east-west we live. So the 6th world creates this letter M, which means 1,000, and it means 4, because there's a V here. Roman numeral 4 and 6. 1, this dot here, and this dot here, okay? That would be the 3 card in cards, okay? Right here, 2 directions. 33 of Christ. This is why they call it the 33 of Christ. Okay, this is the 5 that creates the 33 of Christ, because you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but you only see 5 dots. Well, when I told you about communication 56, 65, that's the reason, because they're mixed into each other. One of them is lost. They're all lost in each other, and that's how you get the communications work, by mixing up the dice and the cards. The number over here would be 2, 5, 2, 9, and then this one over here would be 4 and 6. Actually, no, this one would be 9. I'd have to turn it this way again, and then this way again. So this would be 2. Well, and this is the card upside down, so that's why it's a 2, the same thing. 2, 5, 2, 9. 2, 5, 2, 9 is 18, and then this one over here. 18 and 4 is 22, and 10 is 32, and 16 is 48. And that's how you get your 48 heaven. 4 by 8 is 32, and that's 32 red, and that's your last exit point. I'm not going to get further into that. I think I got a little confusion in there, Confucius in there. Ron Paul must win this election, even if we will see horror whether he wins or he loses, because it's already set up to be that way. Don't you know the Bible was written because the computers have been here before? The computers in the Bible, they were like made together. All this stuff in the world is made together. Everything was made this way. We're inside a diskette of some sort that turns around and around and around. And that's where the letter R comes in, because when you put four R's together, okay, and you draw them square, if you leave space in between, you can drag the legs on 4 sides to create a 4-sided R. But if you do it on only 2 sides, okay, creating one down like an L angle and an L angle and an L angle and an L angle, you would create beta cassettes. And then the different levels of Rubik's Cube you would put in the diskette cassettes that man works in, and they spin around from what has actually been drawn up in a game. Raphael, 7286. I had a lot of stuff I didn't mention, but that's okay. I hope you understood from the last cassette that on a dice cube, there are 2 sides that run into each other, where the dots dissolve within each other. The 2 dice and the 5 dice, the 2 dissolves in the 5, and you only see the 5. The 1 dice, okay, and the 6 dice, the 1 is apparent in the 6, and giving the 6 1 extra dot, making it 7 of 7. And then on the other side is the 3 and the 4. When the 3 and the 4 go next to each other, all that you see is 5. So you would have 4 5s, which equals 20. And then you would have 1 and 6, and 6 and 1. 7 and 7 is 14. 20, 14. That's the year. 20 and 14 equals 34. 34 is the number count for the 1 passage. And that, my friend, is in 2014. Not only that, but because of the 4 5s, and 2 are opposite of each other, we will count in Hebrew, therefore eliminating 2 of the 5s, unless we read it backwards and forwards. And it stands like this: 5 7 7 5. We have the Hebrew calendar year 5775, and both 2014 Gregorian calendar and 5775 the Hebrew calendar are the same year exactly, and it starts in Tishrei, the 10th month, because the 10 in this world, X world, is the same as saying number 1, number 10. Who's number 10? Oh, number 10 is perfect. Who's number 10? So you understand what I'm saying? Who's 10th? Who got a 10? Anybody get a 10 here? I got 10 to 10. So 10 is perfect sometimes. So therefore we get I don't even know what I was talking about anymore. So therefore we get, yes, we get that year. And in the Hebrew year, right, what we get is 5 and 7 is 12, and 1 and 2 is 3, and 7 and 5 is 12, and 1 and 2 is 3. We get 33. Command and create, the energy of Christ. What I had just showed you 2 seconds ago, that design. It all shows up in the same year, in the month of October. And what month? Well, definitely in the month that counts before anything counts. You must count Delta. It's the 4th day, because you get the angel, then the passage, then man. You don't get the man and then the angel gets the man. So you go to October 4th of the 2014, and it's so funny. It's the Hebrew, I think, New Year's. It's also my birthday. It's just really weird the way it all works out. I don't work things out that way. They just work the way they do. Numbers are numbers. They count for themselves within. Ron Paul for sanity of all man. All Canada, take a check at Ron Paul, my friends, because if you don't get Ron Paul, we are in for a disaster up here, my friends. Okay? We are in for a disaster. And it's going to be pretty hardy in the West before it moves on over here. I think this is the last place they're going to attack where I am. But you guys are up for a big, what they say, scrimmage of the mind. This is all a mind game now. This is all about the mind. What do we have to do to unite as the goodness and one and push away maliciously, okay, as the Second Amendment to support our rights? I support the militia and I support Ron Paul. Raphael 7286. MrTacpans says, there's no one but. There's no one but, and there is no but. There's no one but, and from Ron Paul, there is no but. Ron Paul's going to look into anything, and he's going to put committees together, and he's going to get the shit done. And if Ron Paul, you get any of this stuff, and if you ever hear it, you got to get the stuff done. Get your shit organized. Try to figure out how who wants what in this world and what the society wants. Okay. What the basic thing is, we have to solidify as a group. That's the biggest thing to start with. We are one. I am not anonymous. I am me. Okay, I am not anonymous. I'm not a threat, and I don't threat, and I really don't even know how to download anything from my computer, and I'm so scared of them. Oh, great, anonymous. Keep it up, guys. All those who can, this is the way I could. It's been MrTacpans. This is my way of telling you, Ron Paul.